More breaking news coming in from the top court. The Supreme Court has directed the state and the central governments to ensure that salaries are paid to the doctors and the health workers on time and to ensure quarantine facilities for the doctors and the healthcare workers. The Supreme Court said it will take the stock of compliance in 4 weeks. Let me bring in our Deputy News Editor Meenakshi for further updates on this. Meenakshi, can you take us through the details? A very important direction when it comes to the doctors and the healthcare workers now coming in from the top court.
Well, Apurva, this is a petition which has been filed by Udaipur-based Dr. Aarushi Jain, which was being considered by the Supreme Court today. And the government, as a matter of fact, asked the Supreme Court to go ahead and...
All right, we'll try and reconnect with Meenakshi in just a bit. But those are the important details that are coming in from the top court. The Supreme Court there issuing directions to both the centre and the state governments at this point to ensure that the doctors and the healthcare workers are paid. Remember, the doctors and the healthcare staff are at the front line dealing with the coronavirus pandemic. And in this petition, they had, of course, spoken about the fact that the doctors and the healthcare workers in several of the areas have not been paid. And also, the quarantine facilities for the doctors and the healthcare workers are also not quite available. Going back to my colleague Meenakshi, who's with us for those updates. Meenakshi, over to you for the latest.
Well, that's right, Apurva. We were just showcasing to our viewers that this is a plea which the Supreme Court has been considering on past occasions as well, which featured for consideration today, where the central government asked the Supreme Court to issue directions to all the states under various sections of the Disaster Management Act to timely disburse salaries and remunerations to all the doctors and healthcare workers. The central government further added that the Supreme Court should direct that any breach would tantamount to a criminal offence. The Supreme Court then went ahead and directed the state and the central governments to ensure that salaries are paid to all doctors and health workers in compliance, and the compliance order for the same shall be issued tomorrow by the centre. The court has also directed to ensure that quarantine facilities for doctors and healthcare workers who are not high risk should be made available, and the Directorate of Health to ensure that this is to be done by tomorrow. And like you rightly mentioned, the matter has been still kept pending by the Supreme Court with itself, which will go on to take further stock of the compliance of its directions in 4 weeks' time.
All right, Meenakshi, many thanks for joining us and bringing us all those updates. All right, those are the details now coming in. Remember, we are looking at a very important direction that has come in from the top court, directing the state and the central governments to ensure that the salaries are paid to the doctors and also the health workers on time, and to also ensure that quarantine facilities for the doctors and the healthcare workers are provided. And Supreme Court there also saying that it will take the stock of the compliance in 4 weeks.